Box and whisker plots, what box and whisker plots do is they break my data into what we call quartiles. So this first quartile represents 25% of my data. This second quartile from here to here is another 25% of my data, 25. So what happens is my data is broken into 4 different quartiles. So I could say 50% of my data is here, 75% of my data is from here down and so on. You can break it into 25%. Each one represents a quartile. Okay? So to make this quartile graph, box and whisker plot, we have to do 5 things. The first thing we do is identify our minimum. What is the smallest value? And then we identify our maximum. What is the largest value? The third one is this Q2, and what that is the median of all of your data values. So the median of all data. Okay, so we do the min, max, median of all of my data. Then I have, by finding this Q2, I now have a lower half of data and an upper half of data. Q1 then, that's my 4th step, would be finding the median of the lower half. And Q3 then, that's my last step, my 5th step, that would be the median of my upper half. So those are your 5 steps. So what you're going to do with your data is the first thing you have to do, of course, is smallest to biggest. You have to put it in order. And then you do min, max, median of all your data, median of your lower half, median of your upper half, and then graph it. We're going to do a box and whisker plot for Louisiana here, Grand Isle, Louisiana. And you should notice there's 12 values. It represents each month, January through December. Okay, so looking at these 12 data values, the first step is to do what? I need to put them in order. So 61, 61, 64, 65, 70, 270s, 277s, 283s, and 285s. So I should have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. The 5 things I need to do. The first step is to identify my minimum. So here's my min. And then I need to identify the max. So all the way down here, there's my max. Okay. The third step is the median of all my data. The median meaning the middle value. If I have 12 numbers, where's my median? After the 6th number. So there's 6 on the left, 6 on the right. So what's the middle number between 70 and 77? 73.5, very good. Now, when you're doing lower half and upper half, you never include this median. Even if you circled it, right, or found it, you never include it. So my lower half is going to be these 6 numbers. I include the min. I'm going to include the min and max, but not the median. So these 6 numbers, where's the median? Right? 64.5. Yep, because 3 and 3. And then my upper half, again, I'm not going to include that. I have 6 numbers. Where's my median occur? Yep, because 3 and 3, so 83. So there's my 5 numbers. Now to graph this, you need an equally spaced number line. You just can't plot them and make a box and whiskers. It has to be an equally spaced number line so you can see how your quartiles are skewed, small or big, left or right. So for this one, since I'm going from 61 to 85, I'd probably count by 2s. So let's start with 60. Something like that, count by 2s. And then you're just going to put a point for each number. So my min is 61. I'm going to put a point there, 61. 64 and a half would be about right here. 73 and a half. 83. And 85. Okay. Your middle three dots, that's called your interquartiles, your interquartile range. Those are what create the box from the Q1 to Q3. So I have my Q1, Q2, Q3, my interquartiles. And then my first quartile is a whisker out to the min, and my last quartile is a whisker out to the max. Now, these each represent 25% of my data. So a couple of things I could say maybe on a test, true or false. Does 50% of my data is greater than 73 and a half? Yeah, 73 and a half, 25 plus 25 is 50%. Is 75% of my data less than 83? Yes, here's 83, and I have three quartiles, that's 75%. Is the bottom 25% of my data from 61 to 64 and a half? Yes, that's 25% right there. Okay, so the big thing is to know is each section represents 25%. And of course, to make this really professional, we would want to put a title, water temps of Grand Isle, Louisiana. Right, something like that, a title. And that's it. The last thing then would be what is my interquartile range? And your interquartile range is basically Q3 minus Q1. You want to know how big my box is. So since I'm going from 64 and a half to 83, I would take 83 minus 64 and a half and get what? What's my interquartile range from Q1 to Q3? 18.5. Good.